Today I'm going to be working on a 2010 Mini Cooper S.
The truth.
Alright, today's the day we're going to be putting the new intake on the Mini Cooper. Let's get this box all the way open and get everything out.
Is the king.
Alright, so definitely looks like it comes with everything we need. It's got the part that mounts on the hood. It's got like kind of a foam gasket that goes around that. It's got a heat shield for the turbo. It's got some intake piping, a new intake box, filter, all that good stuff. And of course, instructions, hardware. So first things first, let's get the hood of the Mini Cooper open so we can start installing all this stuff. So because we're going to be disconnecting some electronic components, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the negative side of the battery just so nothing shorts out. So once we have the battery disconnected, we're going to start taking off parts of the stock intake system. Mainly this box back here, this pipe, the mass airflow sensor is right there, and a few other bits. So first things first, I'm going to do this mass airflow sensor and just kind of pinch it and clip it out. And then we're going to take the two screws on that, take it out, take this air box out. Alright, so the little Torx bolts on here are a T25. Let's go ahead and take all those off. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and unplug this little guy right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this one, and this one. And I'm going to also take off this little guy that crosses over the top of everything. Just so we have clear access to this intake pipe right here.
Is the king.
Now I'm going to pull out this hose from the intake pipe, and then we're going to get this whole intake pipe out. Next, we're going to remove this top half of the intake box. And of course, we're going to get our intake filter out of the way. Alright, there's a T20 bit right where my wrench is at. We're going to go ahead and take that one out really quick. I don't know how well that showed up on camera, but the piping going in this way, you just had to twist it and then it came out. So it's got like these kind of locking grooves in here. So yeah, just twist it and it pops right out of that intake pipe that's running down over here. The other mounting points for this intake were just these grommets that are right in here. If they came off your intake, it's fine. Just gotta make sure that they end up back in here in the intake manifold. All right, next we need to remove the mass airflow sensor from the top of the air filter housing. It takes 2 T30 Torx screws, or Torx bits, whatever side you wanted to deal with. That's the screw, this is the bit, obviously. We're gonna take both of these out so we can remove this mass airflow sensor housing. And just make sure this O-ring comes with it. Alright, so now we're going to pop this little elbow off. I think you just have to disconnect the line right here. There we go, get it out of the way. And then pretty much get like a screwdriver up underneath here and just get these little tabs. Just going to kind of pop them, and then this whole little elbow will come right out. Alright, so on the new intake box, we're going to be installing these little grommets. They screw in with these little 10mm bolts that are on it as well, but they're going to go here, here, and right here. So we're going to run the bolt through the backside and screw these little grommets into place.
Is the king.
Alright, so next we're going to take our mass airflow sensor housing and we're going to be sticking it through so it comes out this top hole right here. It does go this way, not this way. It will not fit this way. So just make sure you have the side with the bolt holes and everything facing in towards the intake itself. So it's going to go like that. Alright, once it's all the way in there, we're going to rotate it so our connector inside here is able to access through this hole right here. Just like that. So we go to plug in, boom, it's right there. So next we're going to take this bit of silicone hose and we're going to slip it over here. And we're going to take our clamp and go ahead and tighten her down on it as well. This bit of silicone hose and the clamps are provided in the kit. Now remember, it is a piece of plastic underneath here, so you don't want to tighten it down too much, but make sure it's good and snug. Alright, so next we're going to take our new air filter. Maybe if I can get it out of the box. Oh my god, that was harder than it should have been. Alright. Alright. So we've got our new air filter. Oh, and it came with an extra clamp. Cool. And we're going to be installing it onto the end of the mass airflow sensor that's in there. If you ever need to change out your air filter, that's going to be the part number right there that you need to do it with. And if it's not an AEM brand, you can get one that's equivalent and fits the same. If you have not done so already, remove this O-ring that's on the mass airflow sensor and get it out of there. Alright, so we're going to install our clamp first. Make sure it sits on here well. And now we're going to be putting it on the inside of the mass airflow sensor. Definitely takes two hands to hold the air filter in place and to tighten up this screw that's going to be on here as well for the clamp. Alright, so right before we put this new one on the car, you're going to want to check this hole right here. If yours is bigger, you're going to use this piece of rubber hose and you're going to stick it in there, cut it to length, and it's going to just stick in there. Mine is the smaller hole, so we're just going to take our screw from our stock airbox and we're just going to stick it right in like that, and that's what's going to screw into the car. Alright, now that the screw's good and tight and the air filter's in there, we're going ahead and going to go put it on the car. Alright, so our rubber grommets that we left into place are going to match up to these rubber pins that we installed on our new airbox. Oh, not that one. Where is it? Down here. So let's get those matched up, and then again our one screw is going to screw into right there.
Is the king.
So now we're going to take our grommet and we're going to put it around our mass airflow sensor connector, and then we're going to plug in our connector and then put the grommet into the housing. Alright, so on this little weird elbow with the oval side and the circle side, we're going to go ahead and take this O-ring off of here. I like using a pick. We're going to take it off and we're going to put it on this new one provided by AEM, and it just kind of sits in place. If I can get it on there. There it goes. It sits in place right on here. This is our oval side, going to connect to our stock intake pipe that runs down under here. There it is, part of it. And then this part is going to seat inside the bottom of this airbox. So let's go ahead and get that in. I'm going to go ahead and get the oval side on first, and then I'm going to mash it into the airbox down below. It goes in this bottom hole right down here. Alright, that was not fun. And I didn't want to bore you guys with 20 minutes of me fighting with this damn elbow. But it is on there. I did end up taking the intake box off, getting it to go in there, and then I just put the intake box back on. So I got to plug this guy back in really quick. But yeah, it is not fun. In hindsight, maybe I should have put it in when I was putting on this top one. Got everything put together and then put it in the car. But yeah, that elbow, not fun. Just be sure that it clips in all the way before you fight with this grommet. You don't want to have to pull out the grommet again and re-click it. So yeah, just make sure it clicks all the way and then go ahead and get your grommet to seat properly. And while we're down here, let's go ahead and reconnect this hose into this little clip right down here. There it goes, just like that. Alright, next we're going to be putting this rubber foam onto our plate that's going to go on the top side of the intake. What I did was I test fit this thing on my intake, and it only goes one way. This larger side is going to be covering up most of the air filter. This side will have your mass airflow sensor. Mine has this kind of rounded out corner down here, and then all the rest of them are pretty squared off. And that's the only way that it fit properly. So double check your own, try it in all different positions. But this is the only way that fits on mine. So now I'm going to slap this little rubber seal right on top like that. Alright, once it's good and on there, we're going to take our bolts and a couple of the washers and make sure this thing mounts on there properly. Now it's going to be using these little Allen key bolts to hold in this frame here. They are 4mm, and it said just to use the plastic washers with them. So let's get these installed on that plate.
Is the king.
Alright, so on our stock intake pipe that ran this way, we've got to remove this guy right here that has a sensor on it. So this guy's going to be popping out. It is pretty stiff, so I'm going to have a fun time getting it out of there, but it's going to be installed on our AEM one. So pretty much it just goes into that slot right there. There is a little notch right here, and it fits into the notch that the AEM one has. So yeah, let's get this out and onto here right quick. Ah, there it goes. All right, let's get in the new one. That went in there a lot easier than it did coming out. All right, now we're going to be installing this little guy onto the intake side of the turbo. So it's just going to kind of slip in. I'm going to leave this loose at the moment. That way if we need to adjust this guy, we can. And I'm going to be installing the hose that goes on the end of this guy. It's that guy right there. Just going to get it on. I'm also going to plug this little guy in as well. Just so all that's connected, I can still move this a bit. And this side will be ready for our intake pipe going up to the actual intake filter up there. So let's get this on the car real quick. Alright, so next we're going to be installing this intake pipe. It's going to connect up there to right down here where we just put that rubber boot. I'm going to slide my hose clamp on here just so it's ready to go once we get it up there. And I'm going to put the hose clamp down here as well, which I don't have in my hands, but get this hose clamp ready as well to fit onto this rubber mating surface right down here.
Hey, the key!
All right, now I'm going to go through and I'm going to tighten up all these hose clamps that we just installed and left loose. I'm going to make sure they're all good and tight. And I'm going to go ahead and plug this guy back in as well. Alright, so next we're going to be putting on this heat shield for the turbo. I've got my bolts set up with a flat washer, a lock washer, and then the head of the bolt. They're going to run through these holes. And then we're going to put our spacer on the back side like this. You're not going to have much thread sticking out, but they're going to be mounting to these little spots right here. I'll show you an up-close look at them here in just a second. But we're going to do that with both of these bolts. Get them in here, and I'm going to get my spacer on this one as well. And we're going to get these started down here. This bolt hole right here and this bolt hole right here are the ones we're going to be going to.
Hey, it's a key!
And it is a 10mm socket to tighten these guys up. Alright, now I was reading the instructions. It was saying remove the 4 screws that hold this insulation in on the hood. Our hood does not have that insulation, so if yours does, obviously remove it so you can get access to these 4 points of contact right here. But since ours are out, we shouldn't have an issue with that. Alright, we got to mostly close the hood right now because we're going to be taking out the hood scoop from the outside. Alright, so I'm going to be taking out these 4 little screws just to get this honeycomb grill thing out of our car. It is a requirement for this intake system. I thought about leaving it in, but the instructions specifically say to take it out. So let's go ahead and get it out of here.
It's a cake.
Alright, there we go. Now it's out of the intake scoop. Alright, so I cleaned that up just a little bit, but now we're going to install our hood scoop without that honeycomb grill in there. Alright, now for our new intake, we're going to be installing this kind of weather stripping to this edge and the sides. So it's going to be the side with the AEM printed on it. It's going to be the side that gets majority of this trim. Alright, next we're going to take our intake. Oh, so my corner pops back out. These corners are kind of a pain in the butt. But once it's mounted up in there, it should pretty much stay in place. But it came with 4 plastic little rivet things. We're going to push these in to those 4 spaces up in 1, 2, where's the third one? 3 and 4. So we're going to mount these 4 holes onto those 4 spots and use the little plastic rivets it came with. Or as you saw, I was pushing these in to make sure they're good and tight. You want to make sure everything seals up pretty well. Alright, you do want to make sure that you're not pinching these washer lines back here too. So you may need to like unclip one and kind of run it more around behind here or something like that. Mine are pretty good. I got plenty of space to fit my fingers and stuff back behind here, so I should be good on that. We'll test out the wipers here in just a second. I may or may not show you guys on video, but yeah, I'll make sure that's working properly, but just be aware of that. That issue may be on your car. But other than that, we're pretty much done with this. I'm going to test fit and just to see where it's going to sit. Oh, it's really hard to see. I might have to get my flashlight in there and look for myself, but it should be matching up. You could always close it all the way and make sure it leaves an imprint on here, just like it should. If not, you may need to just adjust this a little bit too. If you guys live in California, you may need to install this little sticker that comes with it. Just saying it's carb legal. I would install it like maybe there or something like that, just so they can see it and go from there. But if you're not in California, it's up to your discretion. I know some states require this kind of stuff. My state does not. So for now, I'm going to leave it off. I am going to keep it in the glove box or something just to keep it safe. But finally, let's put the battery back on. Now, it did say let the car idle for a few minutes. That's what I've been doing here for a minute now. I haven't gotten any check engine lights or anything like that on the dash up here. So everything looks good. So, yeah. This is the part number for the intake system. I will link where I got it down below as well. All right, well, that wraps up the installation of this AEM intake. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below, and I will try and answer them as soon as I can. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed any of the background music in these videos, please check out the artist's SoundCloud. A link is in the description.